The other big story this week is Donald Trump pressuring his own Justice Department to investigate Hillary Clinton. As we've reported, it can be illegal if Jeff Sessions carries out that order without proper evidence. That's the prosecution side of things. But what about judges? The New York Times has reported on a new secret plan hatched to fill some of the most powerful federal courts by Donald Trump with some unusual people. Now, it only takes these days a simple majority vote, and they've already confirmed 8 appeals judges. That's the most early in this presidency since Richard Nixon. And of the 18 nominees so far from Trump, 14 are men and 16 are white. A very different record than the last administration. Now, one of the appointed, John K. Bush, has compared abortion to slavery. Another, Michigan Judge Joan Larson, opposed by 27 LGBTQ rights groups like Lambda Legal and the National LGBT Bar Association, partly over her vote against an appeal that gave a same-sex couple a constitutional right to marital benefits. Then take a look at Brett Talley. He's actually never tried a case. He didn't disclose that he was married to a Trump lawyer involved in the process. And as the Daily Beast reports, you can see here, they note that he investigated paranormal activity. Okay. Joining me now is SHERRILYN, the President, Director, Counsel of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. There's people, there's personnel. The old saying was personnel can be policy. Judges aren't supposed to make policy. But this complete step backwards in diversity, not only from the Obama administration, but even from other Republican administrations, tells us what?
Well, I think, Ari, we have to actually focus on the nature of the candidates that are being nominated by this president, and actually diversity is only a part of the picture. President Trump has only been in office for 9 months, and he's nominated a number of nominees. 4 of them have been found unqualified by the nonpartisan American Bar Association. This is unprecedented. President George W. Bush, who eschewed the ABA ratings, in 8 years of nominating judges, they found 4 of them to be unqualified. In 9 months, 4 of them have been deemed unqualified. You just mentioned Brett Talley, someone who has never tried a case, never even argued a motion in court, has been nominated to sit on a trial court in the Middle District of Alabama. Yes, he may have blogged about paranormal activity, but he also wrote a blog post praising what he called the first KKK before the KKK went bad, and writing an encomium to Nathan Bedford Forrest. I mean, these are the things we should be focusing on about this individual. Another one of the nominees, Stephen Grass, was found by the ABA to be ungratuitously rude and to lack the temperament, therefore, to sit on the bench. And other nominees have been found also to be inexperienced. It's not just that these nominees are right-wing nominees, and many of them are. It's that some of them are far-right. You mentioned John Bush earlier, the person who had on his blog linked to white supremacist postings and blogs. But it's also that many of them lack the basic qualifications as experienced lawyers to serve. So when you put that together, when you put together John Bush, when you put in Thomas Farr, nominated to a seat on the Eastern District of North Carolina, someone who has been the lawyer defending the North Carolina voter suppression law, and who was the mentee of Jesse Helms and defended the Jesse Helms campaign when it was accused by the Department of Justice of intimidating black voters. So someone who has an unbroken career of defending voting discrimination. And you put that together then with the other nominees who lack the basic experience that we would expect of someone who sits on the bench and has a lifetime appointment to make judgments about legal claims and to decide the meaning of the Constitution in this country. And this is astonishing. And this reflects actually a kind of effort by Trump and his administration to degrade the federal courts, to transform the federal courts, to lower the standards used in the federal courts. And we've seen this is Trump's mark. This is what he's done with a number of his cabinet nominees, selecting people who are patently unqualified and lack the basic knowledge they would need to fulfill that office. And now he's doing it with the judiciary.
You talk about qualifications and process. What is it about this Trump administration that there's extreme vetting for any random person that might come into the country, but essentially almost no vetting for people who will be judges who uphold the law of the land? You
know, Ari Melber, there is no position, I think, that is more important than those who are appointed to serve on the federal courts. It's a lifetime appointment. You cannot be removed from that office unless you've done something really egregious and terrible, and you have power, incredible power. And to not vet these candidates, to have a nominee who hadn't disclosed that he's married to the chief of staff of the White House counsel come before the committee, these are things that are just unheard of. And you know, when we think about who should be vetted, who are the people that we should be really turning our eye on, who deserves a vigorous look, it's those who we are entrusting with interpreting the laws of this country for a lifetime, and who we, the taxpayers, are going to pay for a lifetime.
And you can't drain the swamp if you're putting in people who basically have their own conflicts.
That's right.
As always, Sherrilyn Ifill, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
We will be right back.
He's brought us to the brink of nuclear war, accused of obstructing justice at the FBI and of violating the Constitution by taking money from foreign governments and threatening to shut down news organizations that report the truth. If that isn't a case for impeaching and removing a dangerous president, then what has our government become? I'm Tom Steyer, and like you, I'm a citizen who knows it's up to us to do something. It's why I'm funding this effort to raise our voices together and demand that elected officials take a stand on impeachment. A Republican Congress once impeached a president for far less. Yet today, people in Congress and his own administration know that this president is a clear and present danger, who's mentally unstable and armed with nuclear weapons, and they do nothing. Join us and tell your member of Congress that they have a moral responsibility to stop doing what's political and start doing what's right. Our country depends on it.